You're such an asshole!
Greetings all. America's older brother, the Dark Knight of advice columns, the IKEA of consultants, and the world's only professional asshole consulting, that's me. And we have a question from overseas, I think in Europe. Hi Captain, I started working as a waiter for a nice family-owned company. In the last 10 years, as many employees and bosses came on as many had left. I stayed because it was an easy-to-maintain job. The current, this is where I think we're a little bit lost in translation, the current group of employees, you put theater. That doesn't make sense. Maybe that means something else in Europe. The current management, you mean, is the following. The CEO hired a friend, and a friend of the new friend hired another friend. Nepotism at its core value. I'm not worried about getting fired from this job. It happens, so be it. I am soon starting a small e-commerce shop with the following items. And I'm not going to mention it because why would you? Don't ever tell people what you're doing. If you got a business idea, don't tell anyone. God almighty, what if somebody followed this? What if the millions of followers and subscribers I have, one of them just decided to do this, and you'd be out of a job. You'd be stuck working for the Nepotist Incorporated. I take accounting classes in order to become a financial or an accounting clerk. So I'm well off in the long run working in these fields as a freelancer and have my own company as stated above. In a nepotistic or nepotism environment, how to get around with nepotist bosses the most effective way? What does Cappy recommend or advise? I opt for a video response. Nepotism bosses are quite common in Europe, hopefully just in Europe. Greetings, and I'm not going to mention your name because we don't want to get you fired. All right, here's the deal. Unfortunately, it's universal, particularly pronounced in Asia, though. I will point that out. I had some working dealings with Asians in multiple capacities, and not necessarily American Asians, although there was one. But it like Asia, you go to Asia and you just like, whoa, I guess blood is way thicker than water over there. And the reason why it's universal, it's human nature. You want to take care of your kids, your loved ones. Blood is thicker than water, even though that is morally wrong, principally wrong, not meritocratic, and not ethical. It just isn't. You look at the Kennedys. Oh my fucking God, the Kennedys. Half of them should be shot. They're completely worthless people. They should have never been Joe, not to go into boring American history, but Joe Kennedy, the original booze runner, he's the one that made it. And everyone, I'm going to become president, and I'm going to go drown women in bays. Anyway, the larger point is, that is how humans survived in the olden days, was family, your tribe, and you would just take care of your family more often than not, even if they deserved it or not. You would go kill completely innocent people in the other tribe or the other family, even though your son was the rat bastard who murdered the poor innocent girl or guy or whatever else like that. So the problem is, since it is so ingrained even into the genetic mental code, the easiest way to deal with nepotistic bosses is simply not have them. For example, I do not have leftist friends. I do not. I have the occasional communist friend, but that's a very interesting because they're intellectually honest. Like, yeah, we think because we got a moral responsibility. I've mentioned them before. But they're not evil. But I do not deal with socialists. I do not deal with leftists. I do not deal with these fake ideological crusaders. I avoid that. I avoid criminals. I avoid people who don't eat right. I avoid boring people. Because it's not that you will become what you hang out with, but you got to deal with those people. And I will never, ever, 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 ever work for a baby boomer ever again. I will never interview with HR. In other words, I have some standards for myself, which is a little bit hard to do when you're younger. You need money, so beggars can't be choosers. But once you get to a certain point, once you have not necessarily FU money, but you have options, you can really accelerate your life by not hanging out with inferior people. And so the quickest and easiest way to deal with nepotistic boss, nepotistic coworkers, oh my God, don't even get me started about how many otherwise would have been perfectly fine, viable companies I've seen their kids and grandkids just drive and tank down. The simplest way is not to deal with it. Because in the long term, and I can't guarantee you, because every once in a while you get a smart rich kid, but in the long term, Nepotists drive companies down. They drive them out of business. They have nowhere near the work ethic. And man, I know one perfect example. I can't say where, but my God, this guy busted his fucking ass off. And now he's just giving the money to the offspring and, hey, you could take over this company. He doesn't realize the hard work and effort that he put into it, galvanized him over all those years to build up this empire. And these kids are just going to ram it down the road, just like they do their brand new Mercedes that daddy got them. So you don't want to be, they're sinking ships is what they are. They're Titanics. May not be sinking that quickly, but they're Titanics in the long run. So when you go and you work for, or you apply, you go for an interview, find out who the owners are. Is the kid running it? Who's the CEO? Is there any relationship with this guy? I understand when there's, now keep in mind, nepotism isn't just necessarily familial. It's not necessarily just family. But like you got a buddy, like, oh, he went with, this is his buddy from college. Well, there might be a reason for that connection. They both went to electrical engineering school. The guy had the business idea, but his buddy had some electronical expertise. So he brings him on board because it seems logical at the time. But the friendship and the tribalism and the blood starts to cloud their decisions when either people don't perform, they're lazy, they don't want to work. And that's usually the case, especially if the kids, the nepotists themselves, come from money. So there's really no way to get rid of it except to ensure that when you go and work for a company, you're not gonna go work for some firm where the worst case standard, grandfather founded it, father or mother's now in charge of it, and then the children, look at the children when they turn 15, 16. Are they getting brand new cars? Do these kids work? Are the in-laws employed anywhere? Do the resumes not match up with the job title? Like the resume sucks down here and, oh, you're a CFO today now. That was very common in trucking companies. The husband, he's going, I'm going to go drive truck. Dinkly. My wife, she's going to be the CFO and accountant. It's like, yeah, your wife doesn't know how to do accounting. Why are you hiring your wife? All she did was blow you in the back of the Camaro and birthed you 3 illegitimate children and then 2 legitimate ones when you finally got married. And that's her expertise, is breeding, not doing accounting. But she good with numbers. She good with numbers. I'm a truck driver. Wife, you do that accounting stuff. And then they wonder why they get audited and we ain't got no money. Banker Aaron, can you give us a loan? Things are tough. Things are tough. Oh yeah, things are tough. Well, Mrs. has a 6th one on the way. And, and I love it how, like, they have kids and they think that's, like, not the biggest fucking mistake ever. It's like, I don't care. Could you imagine me if I was allowed to be the banker I wanted? Oh, you got 6 kids on the way? Yeah, go find someone else. No, fuck you. What's wrong with children? It costs a shit ton of money. That's what you're ultimately financing in the end, is other people's children and mistakes. Anyway, so yeah, just do your research on these companies and employers, and you can ask questions. You can say, oh, well, who's the CEO? Is there any relation between the CEO and this person? And I'm trying to get an idea of management and how management came to be. And if all of a sudden wifey poo, with her English degree or communications degree, all of a sudden she's Chief Technology Information Officer. Like that one gal, I don't know if it got into the news over in Europe, but what was it? What was the name of that? It's one of the credit bureaus. And they had a huge hack, and it turned out that the chief technology officer had a degree in music. She had a credit bureau music major. Equifax execs resigns. Security head Malden was music major. Yeah, Susan Malden. That was the gal. She had a degree in music. So that's an obvious mismatch. Fuck that. You don't have anything to do with that. Go find, good. I know I do not like large corporations, and they can be painful, but they're certainly more meritocratic, not by a lot, but certainly more meritocratic and fair than a family-owned company that is one generation removed from the founder. And that you don't want nothing to do with that. You don't want to. But like, you're keeping your head low if you can do the job. But it's no shock to me that as many employees and bosses that came in are out now because they got in there. They said, "Fuck you! I've had enough of this." You seem to be able to zen out, chill out, keep your job. Cool. Maybe it works for you. Hell, maybe you could excel in a nepotistic corporation. But if you got family and management, you're not gonna advance. Don't like, if you want to become a CEO of a company, don't go work for a family company. You're never gonna make it. All right. So, all right, that's it. You guys got questions? The old captain's got answers at assholeconsulting.com. Toodles.